agreement is on the account so that as people are overseas, get sick, get fired, whatever, he can quickly get someone else on the signature card. Does that make sense? Okay, so we are asking you to finish that this spring. It's been happening all year. Can everybody kind of read that? Probably not. Okay, I'm going to read it real quick. Here's the houses that need to worry about it. 680, 717, Bob. Chi Theta Chi, EBF. Italiana, Jerry, Kairos, Kappa Alpha Theta, Kappa Sig, Mars, Mwekma, Phi Psi, Pi Phi, Phi Sig, Roth, SAE, Sigma Chi, Sigma Nu, Story, Synergy, Terra, Theta Del, Xanadu. Okay? If I read your name in error, I apologize. Just let Zach know and we'll update this list. Okay? Starting on May 17th through the fall of 2010, we're going to be writing letters of intent instead of employment agreements this year. This is one of the big changes for this year. And let me go ahead and review some of the changes that are coming up for the 10-11 year. As you guys have probably seen in the news, there are new health benefit laws on the docket. On January 1st, 2011, lots of health laws are going to change. They are not exactly sure what those are going to be yet. So instead of doing an employment agreement, a new contract for your employees this spring like we normally do, instead we're going to do a letter of intent that states what their current compensation package is, and then we will negotiate with them this July or August when the new health laws are understood. There are also some other changes that will weigh into that. Number one is that on the contracts, and this will be, I'm giving you a preview of the KMFM bill. The manager jobs will actually be on the contracts as well, so that you guys will be held responsible for doing your end of the work legally against the employees themselves. Also, we're looking at changing the return dates, which is when the employees, and the co-ops were already doing this, which is when you guys start serving. So this past year, we did 2 weeks of training where you guys came back on the Sunday of Labor Day, and then we began training almost immediately. And in the second week, you guys started serving food, or the employees came back and started setting up the kitchens on Thursday. But all your residents come back on Wednesday. This year, what we're going to do is we're going to hopefully have your chefs and hashers come back on Monday or Tuesday, get trained, get health certified just as along with the KMs, and then you guys will be able to start serving food that Wednesday when all your residents come back. So it's going to be real nice for everybody, but it could result in a small uptick in the fall board rate. So, everybody repeat after me. I will be back on September 5th, 2010 for manager training.
I will be back on September 5th, 2010 for manager training.
Now repeat after me. Zach Sargent will fire me if I am not back on September 5th.
Zach Sargent will fire me if I am not back on September 5th.
Okay? You've been warned. We had an FM last year. Wonderful young woman. She helped us out in a tight situation the prior spring. Stepped in as an emergency FM. She couldn't come back in time for training. Zach let her go. Okay? Even though we owed her favors, he let her go. So please don't think that you're immune. You know, so if you have problems with the training or with whatever's going on, let Zach know. Now there is something I do want to let you guys know. We exist, and I especially exist, as a legal safety net to keep you guys out of trouble. What I haven't said yet is that I'm your friend. On Tuesday, I went through all the receipts in Mars with Matt Sprague, the current financial manager at Mars. In there was $540 to beverages and more. It certainly wasn't for ENAPs. There was $120 for Safeway for their special dinner week. I don't care what you guys buy. As I said, I'm not a Stanford employee. Okay? Doesn't bother me at all what you guys are spending your money on. The basic maxim that we'll go over in fall is to be defensible. If you're defensible to your students below, to the administrators above, and co-managers at your level, I have no problem with it. There are 4 or 5 chefs out there right now that I don't think are that great. The students seem to love them, so you guys can keep them. I will tell you when I meet with you individually if I think that your chef is on the border, and then it's your choice whether or not you want to manage them. So again, it's your money. I work for you. I also work for the students. I work for the employees, and I work for the administration. My unfortunate position is I can't afford to piss anyone off. Okay? Unfortunately for you, because you're taking on a role in customer service, same goes to you. So I do hope that you guys will take it seriously and go from there. Another thing related to that in terms of communication and being taken seriously, things like that, because you're about to start setting up meetings with Zach and myself and with other administrators and with co-managers, please develop an e-signature immediately so that when you sign an email, the signature comes up automatically and it tells us what house you're from, what your cell phone number, because at this point I imagine everybody's got cell phones by now. So at least some sort of phone number and an email contact so that we can contact you immediately. Because Zach and I are often out in the field or in cars, and when your chef gets in a car accident or something like that, it's a lot easier for me to check my email and call you back and find out what's really going on if your phone number is on that email. Incoming FMs, I want you to start performing weeks 8, 9, 10, and 11, weekly tracking, master budget. AR, can anyone tell me what AR means? Thank you, wonderful. Accounts receivable and payroll requests. Under the tutelage of your outgoing staff, I'd like the new FMs to either send the reports or make sure you get CC'd by the current FM. And really what you're trying to do is figure out and make sure for your own sake that all the vendors have been paid. Charlie, do you mind if we look at Kappa Alpha? Every week I ask for the master budget to be sent. Charlie sent me Kappa Alpha just the other day. Actually, I'm sorry, Steven sent me Kappa Alpha just the other day. Here they are. Can you guys see that somewhat? Let me zoom it a little bit. Okay, this is why I wanted the KMs to see this, because next year I'm not gonna have as much time to kind of give you a preview. We'll see, fall training. Assets, balance sheet, right? Assets equal liabilities plus shareholder equity on a balance sheet, yeah? There is no shareholder equity, so assets equal liabilities, because nobody owns your stuff, it's just a program. Board revenue. So Kappa Alpha had $78,000 in board revenue come in. Eating Associate, nothing. Social dues, they collected, or they're using $21,000. Wow. So there it is, $2,000 a week. But it's Rush, they're a fraternity, that's cool. That's huge, wow. Damage deposit rolling, $14,750 because they're a fraternity, it's $250 a person. Damage deposit collected this quarter, nothing. Greek dues, we're going to erase that next year. Student Managed Reserve Fund will cover that in fall. Suffice it to say, it's a reserve fund that covers county licenses, new refrigerators, pots, pans, all that stuff. Outstanding board refunds, second account balances, which we zeroed out this year, so a lot of this stuff is going to get cleaned up and go away this year. Then liabilities, student manager compensation, payroll expenses, the damage deposit liability, and you're left with the social budget divided by 11 gives $2,000 a week, and an actual board amount of $47,000 divided by 11 gives them $4,311 a week to spend towards food. Based on their actual target, which is the last 2 quarters average, they're spending about $39.72. Here's the actual spending per week. This is arranged in a workbook. Is everybody familiar enough with Excel to understand what I mean? If you're not, come see me. A workbook means that we have tabs on the bottom with various sheets.